point of this video is about what do you do at the crossroad, at the very important stage in life. And I can think of few ideas. One is to be still and listen to your heart, not doing this jumping around, but rather to even stop the mind functioning in the sense that you have a calm and clear mind, stillness, and you go deeper into your consciousness so that you can gain the insight that you may have accumulated in your life. Lots of reference points, as if go deep into the sleep and then dream may pop up, the idea may pop up, or wisdom may pop up. So calm and quiet mind, I mentioned, it is very critical to come up with a good judgment, or even to ask the right question so that you get the answer. One of the questions could be very important at the crossroad, which I experienced yesterday, was to have a trustful friend who knows about you. And I had, for funny reason, the two ladies that popped up, because one was the person I met at the meditation center, and we shared certain things and get to know a little bit each other. So I talked to her in the evening, facing the stage of at this crossroad, what's going on and how things may evolve from there. So that took probably 30-40 minutes, very focused discussion. And if I use the word airing out, you just kind of dump your thought and the share would give you a sense of, or give me a sense of being able to talk about things. It's important in a very concise and organized manner. So just by talking would help. And the other person I talked was in the middle of the night. I still had some little doubt as to face the next day's meeting, the important meeting to take place. So I called her up because, well, I was awake and I looked into some of the things that I can do, but then the thought popped up, maybe she's out there. We had a conversation. She was in France, and she called me just a week ago or so. So I called her up, and she happened to be there. We could talk about 30 minutes. She knows me for the 25 years we were together. We are divorced about 8 years, 10 years ago, but still communicate. And when it comes to certain decision-making process, I often talk to her. And actually, it's funny that I found that I use FaceTime. And looking back the history, I talked to her for the last couple months, maybe 20 times or more, because I was going through some issues that I want to address dealing with this company that I'm with. So I talked to her, and the point I want to share is that while we can go deeper into our consciousness, stillness, calm, quiet mind, work out the solution, then you might want to share with someone to make sense out of it, that you can share in a concise, clear manner so that the person you're talking to understand and give you some feedback or comment. Because this person's view may be different from yours because of the life experience, but if you trust certain things that this person understands about you, and if you explain that this person happened to be two women, but both kind of gave me a question or comment. Many of those I had the answer, so it's good to check and balance in terms of someone else's point of view. It's like a triangulating the idea, or synthesizing the idea to clarify the issues, to condense to the simplest terms so that you have a clear mind. Don't carry lots of unnecessary thinking, but the basic vision of what is the case and which way to go, and all the details of how to overcome the hurdles. You don't have to worry too much about it, because if you know the direction and with confidence and the belief, and you check and balance, you do everywhere, internally within yourself, but with others, that will give you a sense of conviction. So it's good to have some reliable person, trustful person. Even the stranger can, I hate to say it this way, but even the stranger may be able to help you, because if they are interested in your story, they may get something out of this person, in this case me, going through a crossroad, the fork in the road, to figure out what could be happening. But it's very important decision so that I can picture the process and outcome of what could happen. So the point here, again, is to look around deeper inside, but outside as well. Synthesize the ideas, triangulate them with the other person's viewpoint, but within yourself, almost like talking to the emptiness, which I often do in this YouTube video or voice memo I use, because in that process, you are basically clarifying the thought and sort of convince yourself with the effort that you have taken place for whatever the issue is, and be able to concisely capture the point. That will give me, at least in my case, more confidence and feeling of being sincere and truthful in what I do. And that gives me a sense of, okay, I did everything I could do to face the important meetings. I have 2 of them coming up in the next few hours, and then in the afternoon, to discuss and explore the future possibilities in terms of the working relationship, or whatever the case may be. Preparation and ready to speak. Have confidence and clarity, given the unknowns. Expect the unexpected, but since you have gone through the check and balance within and with others, and there's no more you can do, so in this case, I did sincerely and truthfully to check and balance all the angles. So my mind goes empty. It's funny that one of the lady I talked yesterday was saying, okay, so I understand, or she said, I understand that you have to prepare and you may develop a scenario of what may happen. And that's true. There are lots of scenarios, but I don't need to prepare too much anymore, because my mind is open and clear in the sense that I did everything I could and have this stillness and calm and quiet sense of it. And the faith, be sincere and truthful, would do whatever you can, the best you can. That's all you can do anyway. And whatever comes out, you accept the result and then move on. Luckily, I went through this in many occasions, and I started to gain this confidence that the longest I would have lots of big problem, or even a single problem, important one, usually day or 2 is the most that I can stay with the problem, and then the resolution pops up, some confidence, or even to the point of acceptance as it is, and then let things happen, as I mentioned about thy will be done. Being human and incomplete, you do whatever you can and ask inside and outside friends, or deeply into your consciousness, sincerely and truthfully, and then move on. As someone said, perhaps in the Bible, don't carry over the worries to the next day. That's the spirit, because if you did do what is necessary and possible and feasible as human being with whatever you've got, well, have a good sleep. I woke up and talked to my ex-wife and spent perhaps 30, 40 minutes and check and balanced. And then there are some point that she brought, as I was explaining, came up with little realization that I didn't put into my equation. So that was beneficial just to get that little point. So if you do this balancing out and feel confident, more or less, you're ready to move on. Have a good sleep. No need to prepare. I talked to this first lady about what is the scenario and how do you prepare. There's generic scenario of what to happen, the vision and the process, and what I picture as the good outcome, which is connection, vibrating sense, and being able to have fun and explore jointly. And if we have that sense that we can develop in the meeting, that's almost all I can ask for. So the point I mentioned to her is like flexibility in our mind. If you do your preparation, that's done. It's like perhaps Olympic skier or a golfer, whatever. You did everything, and then the last point is empty mind and hit the ball or down the slope as you envision that something could happen with certain level of confidence, strength, backed up by all the researches you've done, given the time best you can. So back to the original point, the main theme of this was, since I've been talking much about the stillness or calm and quiet mind and internal, I mentioned in other videos about triangulating the ideas, have some references from outside. So when it comes to a moment that you want to clarify things, it really helps to have some trustful friend, possibly even the stranger, like I said, so that you can laugh at and explain it, and in the process, you may find interesting insight. As a part of the process of making decision at the crossroad, I think, I feel, and I believe what I mentioned makes sense. And if you feel cornered, have a very difficult problem that it's very difficult to solve and don't know what to do, go deeper into your consciousness, be still, empty-minded, that's one. Also talk with others, explain the situation. They may just nod and cannot give you any answer, but the fact that you connect to that person sincerely and truthfully to share the idea by itself may help you or help the other person, so that you have some friendship, some sense of being together to share the moment in life, and be positive to move forward. And if you gain that confidence without preparing so much, but ready to go into this, whatever that situation you face, and make a decision, I think you are well prepared, and I believe that's all, pretty much all we can do as human beings. Just a thought of the day. Thank you.